Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My VVIP, which is our SMMEs, stakeholders from private sector, as well as government official, including my fellow colleagues. Welcome to the Furniture Manufacturing Innovation and Design webinar. Just before we start, I'd like to share some house rules so that we're all aware of how we're going to conduct ourselves. Before I read out what is already displayed, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Sharon Mohale. I'm the event specialist for Seda National Office. It's an honor to really have you on board today. And I really, really hope you will appreciate and be empowered with what we have in store for you. So this is basically just to keep our house in order. You're all requested to please switch off your videos so that we prevent any disturbance or distractions. Please mute your microphones in case you are able to have them on. Should we have enough time to take live questions, you'll be welcome to unmute your microphones and then have the question posed live. Thirdly, questions from the presentation will be written on the chat. And that's a request that I'm just making to say, whatever question you have during the presentation, just put it on the chat and then we'll take it during Q&A session. Fourthly, all the answers will be provided during Q&A session. And without wasting more time, thank you so much. This is basically the program of the day. As I already introduced myself, Sharon Mohale, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Mr. Ntombela, so that he can tell us why are we here today? What is it that we really, really seek to achieve by having this webinar? I'm handing over to you, Mr. Ntombela.
Thank you, Sharon. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, designers. Good afternoon, creators, innovators, thinkers, design thinkers, whatever you name it. Today is your day where we will be sharing with three organizations. That is your SAFI, South African Furniture Initiative, Furntech, as well as the Department of Trade and Commission. As you will understand, these are the three organizations that are involved in the innovation and design. And today we're going to speak about innovation and design in three areas, where we're going to look at what does the involvement of SAFI is all about in the innovation and design field, and what does the Department of Trade and Commission is involved with in the space of furniture innovation and design, as well as what does Furntech has to do with the innovation and design. As I have noted, we've got deco designers, we've got up and coming furniture designers, future furniture designers, and innovators. As we are aware, furniture is about the beauty. It's about the look and feel. It's about the authenticity. It's about the creativity. It's about art. And in today's sessions, we're going to be looking at how these three institutions can help South Africa to express their artistic creativity in developing something new that have never been seen before, something that is creative, that our future buyers will be able then to spend money on it and make deco for their houses. And I wish you all the best in today's sessions, where we'll hear more about the areas in which these three institutions are involved with regards to innovation and design. As we're aware, this country, after COVID and lockdown, we really need to restart and reboost our economy in order for us to be able to go back to the employment creation, job creation, and wealth creation. And as a result, innovation and design is one of the elements that will always feature high in the selection or making a company to be more competitive in the areas of furniture design. As you be aware, what will be our customers are looking for? They're looking for something that is sometimes customized. They're looking for uniqueness. They're looking for something that is sleek, unique, and all of those things. And in today's session, we're going to hear how these companies, how these institutions can help our SMMEs, our small businesses, our enterprises, our companies, our individual designers to achieve those dreams. Without further ado, I'd like to say thank you for coming, and you will not be disappointed as we are starting our programs looking at the innovation and design using these three institutions to cover the space. I hope you'll enjoy and stay safe and be with us. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ntombela. You've already set the tone, and I believe our attendees now understand why we're here today and what is to be expected. Okay, I'd like to introduce our speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you the speaker, Ms. Bernadette Isaac. She's the Managing Director of the South African Furniture Institute. Just a brief of Ms. Bernadette Isaac. She was born in Cape Town. She completed her studies in Human Resource Management in 1997 at the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. After the university, she worked in the corporate banking sector and was determined to find her space in the area of her study and took up the position of a Human Resource General at the First National Bank until 2004. After sufficient corporate world experience, Ms. Bernadette wanted to expand her horizon and made a bold move to the manufacturing industry. She worked for a well-known company, Ferry Cronier, Pty Ltd, a solid wood manufacture, design and manufacturing company, until 2009 as a human resource generalist. Bernadette served at various committees and boards. And in 2009, in the spirit of growth, Ms. Bernadette accepted a position as a CEO in the Western Cape Furniture Initiative, so she could share her 12 years HR as well as management experience on a larger scale and get more exposure to the sector. Bernadette Isaac has since taken her 20 years of progressive experience in the field of human resource, project management, skills development, and executive management to a national level with the WCFI involvement into the South African Furniture Initiative, SAFI. She has consistently lobbied for the furniture industry to be seen as a priority sector and has been successful in collaborating with the Department of Trade and Industry to embark for a furniture master plan for South Africa that is forecasted to be complete in 2020, which is this year. This master plan will become the roadmap for the future planning and for government support to sustain and grow the overall industry. Ms. Isaac, I'm handing over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sharon, and welcome to all our attendees. So the mandate of the South African Furniture Initiative is to provide market intelligence information to the industry, facilitate training, mentoring, and other support services, promote the South African furniture manufacturing industry and associated furniture design programs, facilitate access to domestic and international markets, determine and facilitate the implementation of initiatives and programs to enhance the performance of the South African furniture industry, to sustain existing employment and create new employment opportunities within the furniture industry value chain, and to facilitate the development of strategic relationships throughout the value chain. Just in terms of, Sharon mentioned in my introduction that the South African Furniture Initiative and the Department of Trade and Industry and Commission has been for the last year and a half been working on the development of a furniture industry master plan for the furniture industry. That master plan commenced in August of 2019, and we're in the final stages of having the master plan signed off by the minister and implemented hopefully by November 2020. The master plan aims to achieve the following objectives, and that is to increase local productivity by 50% from the current baseline levels by end of 2021, to improve domestic and export sales by 100%, of the current base by the end of 2024, and to increase formal employment from the current base levels by 25% by the end of 2022. Participation of Black and or women participants in the industry would double from the current baseline by the end of 22. And the Furniture Industry Master Plan research and discussions with the industry, the workshops that were held across the country, and the participation and interactions from various stakeholders across the value chain, the finalization of the master plan was that we look at 3 main pillars, and that was increased market access, transformation in the furniture industry, as well as improving competitiveness. You will see under each pillar there are programs that's been identified and required outcomes of those programs. I've highlighted the 2 in black with regards to the pillar under market access to significantly increase local purchases of the local made furniture, and that outcome is to determine design and production needs and to ensure local manufacturing will increase of South Africa in the furniture retail and by the state, by the public. In terms of improving competitiveness, we're looking at programs with regards to skills development, and that is special design skills to develop the supply pipeline strategy and also the furniture design competition, which you guys will hear more of later in today's presentation. In terms of innovation and what's happened during the pandemic and during COVID-19 is that there were companies in the furniture industry on both the design and the manufacturing side, as well as retail side and raw material supply side, that had to come up with innovative ideas in terms of how we were going to survive during COVID-19 and lockdown. If the attendees can remember, under level 5 lockdown restrictions, we as the furniture industry weren't allowed to manufacture any product in the furniture industry or retail it, and that opened up for us in level 4 and level 3. And when we were allowed to be part of the manufacturing, and to do that, I want to share with you 2 success stories or innovation stories in the furniture industry, and that was with a company called the City Group, part of City Office. And what they did was they saw the call for hospital beds in the public space in terms of the hospitals, and they also saw the need for an opportunity in the field and temporary hospitals that were being erected all across the country. Being an office furniture manufacturing company, they had to go back to the drawing board, and they had to come up with concepts and designs in terms of how they were going to heed to this call by the president and by the Department of Health sector. And that's what they did. They put their heads and hands together, and they designed a hospital bed that could not only be used for the medical or the health sector, but also once the pandemic is over and once we've found a vaccine for the COVID-19 and we move on, that these beds can actually double up as bedding for hostels, dormitories, or even domestic use. One of our other innovation success stories was with Amet Furniture, where the managing director, Ms. Matibele, was also wondering how, with all her textile stock in her organization, how was she going to, with no demand at the moment for her in the home and office industry, what was she going to do different? And that's when she thought about, when she also heard the call with regards to manufacturing face masks and the demand at the time. And she then called on her employees in her organization who had sewing machines in their homes and outsourced the work to them, and also extended it to their friends and family. And as a result of that, to date, she now is operating in both the home and office furniture space, but as well as additional part of a company now that manufactures, makes face masks as well. In terms of design and our design programs in the furniture industry, during the process of the research and workshops with the furniture value chain, one of the questions we asked the participants and the stakeholders was to identify the crucial occupations that they found was lacking or needed in the furniture sector. And these ones, these 5 crucial occupations were identified, and we've highlighted the furniture design one, but just also to mention the furniture maker, the furniture upholsterer, hand skills, as well as furniture seamstresses. With regards to the furniture design skills and occupations, the FPNM SETA, the Fiber Processing and Manufacturing SETA, together with the DTIC, the SABS, as well as the South African Furniture Initiative, was then appointed as the project managers. The FPNM SETA funded the furniture sector and various other sectors to look at the development of certain qualifications in the furniture sector. And one of those qualifications was actually starting from scratch, the first pure furniture design qualification that will be registered on the National Qualification Framework, not only in South Africa, but on the African continent. In May of 2020, the qualification was formally registered with SACWA as an NQF level 7 qualification. And we're currently in phase 2 and 3 of the qualification, where we are looking at the assessment and material development of the qualification. The qualification is a 3 to 4 year qualification, and we have interacted with majority of the universities across the country in terms of interest and participation in this qualification. The universities in the country has actually been part and parcel of the development of the curriculum for this qualification. Also, in terms of design within the country and our strategic partnerships, we've also partnered with the Institute of Interior Design Professionals, the IID, to promote South Africa's rich interior design, furniture and product design within the sector. The IID and the South African Furniture Initiative signed a memorandum of understanding at the end of May 2020, which commits us to promote all aspects of interior design, product design, and furniture design for the benefit of both industries. We also partnered with the DTIC in terms of the furniture design competition, and you'll hear more of that later in the webinar. And that's from me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Ms. Benedict. Thank you very much for the presentation. We appreciate the information that you shared with us. Now we know what the sector is all about and what you do as an organization. Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to post your questions and your comment on the chat, and we'll just read them as we go along the session. Now I'm going to move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Ms. Tulufelo. Our next speaker is Ms. Tulufelo Motawu, and she's representing the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, Industrial Competitiveness and Growth, IC&G branch, under the Furniture Industry Sector desk. Ms. Tulufelo, as you can see here, she has been within the department since 2000. She worked in various units, including the incentive, the policy, and she has over 10 years of experience. She has a degree in economics, as well as post-development in finance. Ms. Tulufelo, thank you so much for being with us today, and I'm handing over to you to tell us what you have in store for us.
Thanks, Sharon. Thanks for the introduction and for giving us the platform to also share what we're doing as the DTIC. My presentation will basically just share specifically on the program on design and the initiative itself, what it covers and why we're doing it. Okay, so I will basically touch on who we are briefly. I think you have touched on that and why we think it's necessary to promote design and how you can participate in the initiative. I'll take you through the application and evaluation process that we follow and a brief on what the current competition is asking you to do as a potential participant. Okay, we, from the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, as we said, and from a unit called Forestry-Based Industry, which basically look at forestry-related businesses, including furniture in that space. So we are sector-based division. We look at different sectors. So myself, I'm in the furniture industry. Our main function is to develop policy and programs that mainly focus on enhancing industry competitiveness. So why do we want to promote design? I think I will just give a bit of background how we ended up doing the program itself. It started when, after we developed the strategy for the industry, I think it was 2011-12. Somewhere there, when we then highlighted the main challenges in the industry, and skills shortages was one of them, but not just skills shortage in general, but we also wanted to focus on high level skills like design, because we believed if we focus on design, it can help us to reposition the industry and also nurture the design capabilities in the industry. And we also wanted to attract designers in the industry because we've realized design, or most companies had a different view on the role of design or why they need design in the industry. And we wanted to link it with some of the programs that we do. So we wanted to use design in a way that we can promote the use of local inputs in the manufacturing of design. So Bernadette touched on the development of the furniture qualification. So that was a long term that we're looking at, that can we maybe develop a qualification in design that we can introduce to the industry. But since that was a long term, something that would take us a number of years to get to, we thought in the meantime, maybe we can also look at something that will complement it that we can do now. But the Western Cape Furniture Initiative, I think when you were introducing Bernadette, she was also part of that before the establishment of the National Association. So they were previously running a competition just for the province. So we thought of, then we will learn from that and do that as a national competition. So that's how everything started from there. So we believe design should be more about bringing solution to the changing needs of the consumers, how they use the space. Now we see most people living in smaller spaces, apartments, RDP houses, but is our furniture responding to those spaces? So how can we use design to then respond to such spaces? We also believe that we can also use design to complement some of the initiatives in the unit, in the division that we have. We talk about localization, we talk about market access, we talk about competitiveness of the sector. But how can we use design to make sure that we localize, that our standards speak to the local capabilities of our manufacturers? Market access, we want our products to access more markets, especially now after the COVID, where we want to push on demand. But we want that new products that will speak to the consumer's needs. And we believe design can help us do that. How do we translate design to respond to such initiatives? We also see a lot of online buying as far as furniture is concerned. That means your furniture must be easily transportable. Is our furniture doing that now? Can we use design to help us to do all those things? And on competitiveness, I think all of those areas that I've touched on will address the competitiveness issue. So basically what we're saying, we want design to help us manufacture products that will respond to consumers' needs. But most of all, we don't want just a furniture that looks good, but we want it to be functional, be it in the space where it can be multifunctional. We can be able to use that furniture in a smaller space, but do a number of things using one piece. That would also be great. I think when Bongani was doing the introduction, he spoke about furniture being an art, being a beauty. So that's what we're also talking about, lifestyle, that we each have a different style, like in fashion, where a person have a style of dressing or their preferences. I think it's the same with furniture. And can we use design then to respond to those styles for different consumers, thereby creating different experiences for them when they buy furniture? So that's why we think design is important in this space. The competition, how you can participate, there are two folds. One, as an entrant of the competition, where you submit your entry and be a participant. But for manufacturers also, we want them to partner with us, because with the two categories, one is for students, where we encourage design students to also participate in the competition. And for established manufacturers who are also partnering with us, who wouldn't necessarily want to be entrants of the competition, we want to place the students in companies where they would learn the process of moving from the design as a sketch to a commercial product. So we're looking for companies to also partner with us to help us do that with the competition, with the student who participate in the competition. It can either be something that they can do during their vacation. So the terms will be determined between the company, what they can offer. So that's how you can participate and partner with us on that. And the application process, how it works is annually we will give you a theme. We'll send out a theme, say this is the scenario, we want you to design a product responding to this. I will touch on the current one in the next slide or so. And then you will respond to that by submitting a design. Usually we would go to varsities that offers design, academic institution, talks to students, lecturers will allow us time to talk to students during their lectures. We'll go to different exhibitions where we meet companies, different platforms, but because of the restrictions this year, we couldn't do most of that. So we're using platforms like this to also promote the competition. And we have the theme also on our website where you can read all about it and what you are expected as an entrant. And then we're asking you to then email your entry to our furniture design email. It will show on, I think, the last slide of my presentation. And then we have two evaluation stages. One, where it is just based on the sketch that you submit, and a brief description. I'll touch on that on another slide. What is it that you need to submit? And based on that, we will then choose finalists who will then go to the second round of the evaluation. Before COVID and maybe sometime post-COVID, we will go back to that. We will then have an event where we exhibit life-size products of what you entered, and then have a mini prize giving ceremony there with our principals. issuing out and announcing the winners. So, but we have catered for a different scenario this time because we didn't know how long the restrictions would be and what it would ask of us. So should there be any changes, you will be notified, especially for the finalists. This is some of the areas we have touched before. Looking at the themes, we've done limited spaces, public seating, furniture that provides storage, living spaces, and so forth. So these are the type of themes that we try to look at. This year's competition, we asking you to design a range of functional furniture. This is mostly modular furniture that can be purchased on a budget. So we give you a scenario of these young people who are new in the employment market, who are sharing a space, they want to buy furniture, they can't afford to buy furniture individually. So we want them to buy pieces that will complement each other in that space that they're sharing. It must be something that they can use to socialize, to relax, to eat, entertain, all those things. And we give you the sense of the space that we're working with so that when you design, you have that in your mind. And these are some of the things that you need to consider when you design and submit the design to us. We want a furniture that will appeal to the market, obviously, and that can create an identity. We spoke about the lifestyle issue earlier on in my presentations. We want something that will retain a perceived value, that has value for money when people want to buy, decide to buy it. And it must be functional, as I said. We want as much as possible to use materials that are locally manufactured, because one of the programs that we're pushing as a department is promotion of buying locally manufactured products and the importance of that to growing our economy. So we're also talking about a product that's easy to transport, and especially for export purposes. Like I said, with market access, we want these products to be sold beyond our borders, or in different provinces, so it will be easy and more beneficial if it's easy to transport. What the judges look for, the concept behind the product. We want to see how your design responds to that, the theme that we gave you. How much is your product that you're giving us responding to that? How functional it is, the degree of innovation in your products that you're submitting, how easy it is to manufacture, because it doesn't help to give us this nice design, but that is almost impossible to manufacture when we come to the manufacturing space. And how much you're going to incorporate the local inputs in terms of material in that, whether it's wood or plastic, or because furniture nowadays incorporates most of these inputs. So we want to see how you're going to use that. And so that will involve a bit of some research, knowing what is available and not in our local economy, and the market appeal and commercial viability. And these are what you then need. These are compulsory. This is what you need to give us when you submit on email. We want to see the technical drawing of the products that you're entering. And it must also tell us the dimensions, because then we will be, the judges will be able to see how difficult that is to manufacture, because most of those decisions must be done based on the drawing that you submit for the first round. So you must also give us a short description of the concept, including materials, inputs that you're using for production. Like I said, the use of locally manufactured material is encouraged. Description of the design, less than 100 words, not a lot, just to motivate, just to get a sense of where your concept, how you came about it. And for students, we only want them to give a brief CV, nothing long, just a 1 page. But for companies, we want you to also submit the company profile You also don't need to give us a very long one, just so we get a sense of what your company is all about. The other part will then relate to people who make it to the second round. Should we not be able to have the event like before, then we may ask you to do a 360-degree video of the product or the prototype, also describing it to us, and as if you engaging with the judges that we normally do in a different setup like now. This what we offer as prizes. So for companies, earlier I said you can partner with us. You can also partner to sponsor some prizes for us. If you're willing to do that, just let us know. Currently for students, we offer them an internship with companies who partner with us. We also offer a 6-month furniture design incubation program. And graphic tablets, it can be any other design related tools that we get at that point. And then design software training, we also profile you in the relevant publications, or we talk about you and the product that you have done. And we also want to know, I've posted the competition, how you are doing. We may also contact you and do a write-up about you. But this is sometimes not just limited to the winners. We randomly contact people who participate in the competition and profile them when we have publication space. For manufacturers, you have a 1-year membership with Proudly SA. So you can enjoy the use of their platform, and they now have a platform where people can look at the products that you offer and maybe engage with you to buy, because they're also promoting locally manufactured products. And there's also a 1-year IGD membership. And same as the other site, we have design tools and software training. And what we also used to do, which will depend on how the situation is going forward, we also used to buy spaces in design in different exhibitions, because more for manufacturers, for us, it's about exposing their products, giving them exposure. So we would buy spaces in different exhibitions and showcase your products, invite you to come and showcase your products in those platforms. So we will work around what is available now. And I see most of them, like the Decorex, they're doing virtual exhibitions. So we can also tap on those and see how we can exhibit the products in those platforms. The important date, I think now, is the closing, which is very, very soon. Unfortunately for now, it's the 30th of September, but you can contact us telephonically if you have any challenges. And we foreseeing announcement of the winners in February or March, but the final dates will then be communicated with the finalists once they are notified. Okay, so for more information, this is where you can find us. We're still working remotely now, so I think the mobile number will be more appropriate than the office one, since we're still working at home. And the email address that you can send your entries to is furnituredesign@dtic.government.za. But maybe just also to note that currently we still don't have the entry form on the website. So I think what we can ask you to do currently, while we're still working on it, hopefully it will be up before end of the week, is to send your entry so long, but with that on the email, you can give us your name, the name of the company, the province where you are, and also send the and a CV for students. And then once we then have the form up and running, then I can also contact those people who have sent already and liaise with them in that regard. So that's us. Thank you.
Thank you, Fellow. Can you just repeat those last requirements again, because you got a little bit cut off for a few seconds, just for the sake of the attendees to.
Okay, the requirements, the compulsory ones.
Yes, please.
We're asking them to submit a technical drawing of the product. It must also have dimensions and 3D drawings of the product that they're entering, the furniture piece that they're entering. They must give us a concept and motivation of not more than 100 words, which must also talk about the materials and inputs that they're intending to use for a final product. So at that stage, we're not asking them to manufacture the piece, but they must just give us a picture of this is how the piece will look, this is the material we intend to use, and only after they are nominated as finalists, then we may ask them to manufacture the piece for exhibition.
Thank you very much for that presentation.
Thanks, Sharon.
I think everybody loves to win, so maybe that's why I just said repeat it again, so that all our attendees get to understand the requirements and know exactly what is required and what they must submit, as well as the closing date.
Yeah. We're also encouraging them as many as possible to participate in the competition. It's been a great platform for most companies who have entered. I don't know if they have seen the recent media release that we did on one of the participants. She didn't win, but she is winning even post the competition. So they were also profiled recently on how they're doing since the exhibition at the Proudly SA Summit, where they were finalists also.
Wonderful.
So we're encouraging as many of you guys to participate in the competition and submit your designs.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ma'am Mutau. I just want to indicate to the attendees who perhaps might have joined us late and missed our house rules. You are requested to type your questions on the chat or at the Q&A session, and then we'll attend to them. Unfortunately, at this point in time, we're not going to be taking hands for questions, so do pardon me. We're not ignoring you. We do see your hand, we acknowledge it, but at the moment, please just write your questions and your comment on the chat and we'll attend to them. Thank you. Now that we've heard about SAFI, we heard about the competition, now we move to an organization that basically assists in developing and supporting entrepreneurs that are in the sector. So let me take this opportunity and introduce to all of you Mr. Irshan Arifdin. He's the Chief Operating Officer at Furntech. I hope you're all able to see their screen. Mr. Arifdin is a Chief Operating Officer at Furntech, and he has been with the organization since 2003. He has worked in other organizations, such as the City of Cape Town, within the Economic and Development and Tourism Directorate. He has also worked at the University of Stellenbosch under the Small Business Development Corporation, which is now, has changed the name. And he also comes with accolades of qualifications. He's a moderate for the fashion designer at the department, which was formerly known as Cape Peninsula. He also does moderation for entrepreneurship, business studies, and strategic management. I can go on for days. You can see he's filled with wisdom. Age doesn't lie. So, Mr. Arifdin, I'm handing over to you. Tell the attendees what you do at Furntech and the support, as well as what other developmental area you have for them. Handing over to you, sir.
Okay, good afternoon, panelists and Sharon and participants. It's a great honor to be part of this presentation. And I'm going to take you through the presentation of Furntech. And by the way, Sharon, if you mention that CV in front of my mother, she wouldn't recognize that that's her son. Be it as it may, to start off with, before we get to what Furntech does and our programs, I think in South Africa we have the triple challenge, which is poverty, unemployment, and inequality. And those are things that we have obviously been grappling for since the demise of apartheid. And then 2020 came to add COVID-19, as if we haven't had enough challenges yet. So that's basically the background as to why Furntech is doing what it is doing. Okay, so who are we in terms of Furntech? Furntech is a business technology incubator that specializes in the wood and wood products sector. We've started off with two main legs, which is business incubation and skills development. And then obviously later when we talk about the design, you will see that due to the need, we have then also developed a design incubator. And as you've heard from my CV that I've been working with for Furntech since 2003, which means that Furntech as an incubator has been around for a while. And part of the success of our incubation services lies in the flexibility, in the flexible combination of skills training and development processes, infrastructure and people. So those things combined is what has made Furntech successful. And then also you'll see later some of the other critical success factors that has made us what we are today. Okay, so where do we come from? Furntech was established in 2000 as a partnership between the Department of Trade and Industry and Competition. That time it was the Department of Trade and Industry, and a Swedish organization called Seda. And I always talk of Seda with an I. So it is the Swedish International Development Agency. What actually happened in about 1999 was that IKEA, which is the biggest knockdown manufacturer in Europe, they were in South Africa, and they weren't selling any of the products, but their products were manufactured for about 3 years in South Africa. And by 1999, they wanted to withdraw from South Africa. So the then Minister of Trade and Industry, Alex Irwin, he said, don't just withdraw, tell us what we can do to improve the furniture industry. And that's where the bilaterals started, and the consequence of that, those bilaterals, was then the establishment of Furntech. And Seda, with an I, they used a training center in Sweden, the TTC, the Tibro Training Center, to actually be their representative to work with Furntech. So that's sort of how Furntech was established. And by 2006, obviously after the enactment of the Small Business Promotion Act, when Seda with an E, the Small Enterprise Development Agency, was established, all small business activities of the government was then presided under Seda. And the memorandum of agreement between the Department of Trade and Industry and Furntech was then transferred to Seda. So from 2006, we have been supported by Seda. Okay, and then that's from the incubation side. On the skills side, we are accredited by the FP&M SETA, the Fiber Processing and Manufacturing SETA, who obviously is reporting to the QCTO. So that basically is where we come from. Where are we now? We've got a footprint in about 5 of the provinces in South Africa. So we've got 2 centers in the Western Cape, in Cape Town and Nyanga, where Nyanga is our first township incubator. Then in the Eastern Cape, we located in Umtata, that is in Vulindlele Heights in Umtata. And then in KZN, we've got a center in Umzimkhulu and a center in KwaMashu. In Mpumalanga, we have a center in White River, and then in Johannesburg, in Gauteng, we've got a center in Johannesburg, and those areas covers about 90% of the furniture industry. Okay, so as indicated in the first slide, one of the major pillars of Furntech is obviously its incubation program, and so I'm going to take you through what is incubation first, and then what is the Furntech incubation model, and then look at the design incubator. So generally, incubation is an economic tool that has been designed to accelerate growth and success of entrepreneurial companies through an array of business support services. And obviously, these are offered in a protective environment. It also serves as a catalyst for nurturing and growing new and existing small businesses by supporting them through the early stages of development and change. And as we know, as far as the furniture sector is concerned, it is not cheap to establish a furniture company because there are machinery and equipment involved in it. Okay, then continuing, the role of incubators in economic development. Business incubators are the mainstay of local economic development programs. And in fact, there are over 7,000 incubators in the world. Okay, South Africa has probably got the smallest contingency of any of the other countries. You look at the United States and you look at China, you look at even Brazil, those countries have got quite a lot of incubators, and they are using incubators to contribute to economic development and growth. Incubators also create value by combining entrepreneurial drive of the startup businesses with the resources that are otherwise not available. The incubators also create an enabling environment to sustain these businesses, which I call the protective environment. So you incubate the businesses, provide them with the necessary support before you actually send them out in the open market. Okay, incubators also provide a supportive environment. Right, so in summary, the incubation program accelerates growth and development with a targeted array of support services for new and fledgling small businesses, and it helps them to grow into sustainable businesses. And there you can see that's the analogy of the small tree that grows bigger. So we're nurturing and support these businesses, and we contribute towards economic development. Okay, then the Furntech incubation model. We have, obviously, everyone can't be an entrepreneur and everyone can't join a program. So we've got an entry criteria. And then you go through the pre-incubation phase, and you go through the incubation phase, and then through graduation. and then obviously post-incubation support. That's sort of the graphic demonstration of our model. On the next slide, you'll see a little more detail what the incubation model is about. Sorry for that. So you have your 2 days of startup lab, which is basically almost like a bootcamp type of training where you get taken through a number of business skills modules. And especially this is done in groups, and then obviously the selection happens from there. Then you go into the pre-incubation phase, which is up to 6 months, depending on the development of the entrepreneur and the business. And then you go through the incubation phase, which is up to 36 months. We've had businesses, for example, that has left the Furntech incubation phase on 13 months or 18 months because they grew too big for the incubator. So depending on the individual businesses. And then you've got a post-incubation phase, which that is only, and the word select means that there are only certain facilities, certain areas where we've got post-incubation facilities, like for example, Umtata and Umzimkhulu. Umzimkhulu, we have got 2 centers next to each other, which is, one is the post-incubation center and one is the incubation center. And part of the reason is that Umzimkhulu don't have a furniture industry. Umzimkhulu don't have factory facilities or infrastructure. And that's part of why we went into partnership with the municipality to actually build those and develop those. Okay, so what do we provide in the incubation system? And there's another slide that will show you the type of services, but in general, we provide technical coaching and technical training. We provide business coaching and business training, and we provide other support services that businesses need, like for example, administration, receptionists, etc. And we have a fully equipped workshop, and you can participate in the incubation program through what we call virtual, which is you have your own premises, but you only come and utilize our equipment and machinery and our mentoring services, or tenancy where you are actually based at one of our centers. Okay, now generally the standard support services that are being offered in incubators generally are those list of 12, and please note that that list is not exhaustive. There are other services also, but in general, these are the type of services that are offered by incubators. That's infrastructure, business modeling, mentoring, brand building, networking, legal services, financial services, conformity assessments, access to funding, technology, transfer, open innovation challenges, and prepare and pitch type of classes. Okay, the Furntech incubation model, the services that we offer within our incubation model is on the technical support services side. You have the coaching and mentoring, technical advisory services, prototype and product design, quality standards, health and safety, technical training, and business and management training. On the business support side, and remember, with the business support, we offer these services, but we offer it in complement to your existing development organization. So we don't try to compete with other development organizations. So therefore, some of the business support services we actually facilitate rather than try to do everything and try to be everything to everyone. So those are the business support services, and then you have your on-site inclusive services. Like I said in the previous slide, under the administration, we provide a communal receptionist service, We shared office space, controlled internet, etc. And then other paid services is photocopy, printing, showroom, machine usage, timber facilities, and their terms and conditions obviously apply. And then financial data capturing services. Okay, so what are the requirements of our incubation program? To join our incubation program, businesses must be legally compliant, so there must be a business registration certificate, tax clearance certificate, UIF registration, and workman's compensation. And the reason for these things are because as the type of machines that we use and the type of workshop that we have, if any injuries occurs to your employees, you know, they need to be protected and you need to be protected, and therefore especially the workman's compensation becomes important. CSD registration, that is the Central Supplier Database registration, and then obviously proof of address. In terms of the Bargaining Council, I think it's been indicated by SAFI, and that Bargaining Council registration is compulsory. Furntech makes the small businesses aware of it, but they have to independently go and register with the Bargaining Council. We also try to get the Bargaining Council to actually come and speak to our clients and explain to them the benefits of it. Okay, then of course there's, during the pre-incubation and incubation phase, there's the business participation. So clients have to submit monthly management accounts signed off by a registered accountant. They've got to participate in the business coaching. We trying to make sure that by the end of the incubation period that or phase, that at least one member of a company has got a full technical qualification. And then they've obviously got to participate in health and safety and machine usages. Okay, and some of the key performance areas or measures that we look at and that we consider, which is, we consider it, but are things that we report to our funder we look at turnover in terms of business growth, we look at job creation and job sustain, we look at product quality, and we look at innovation. Okay, so that in a nutshell is the incubation program. But like I said in the beginning, the success of incubation program hinges on the fact that we also provide skills development. And the skills development that we provide, and I'm not going to dwell on this because my understanding is that SAFI and Seda, one of the webinars to come will specifically concentrate on skills development. But I've indicated in the beginning of my presentation that we are accredited with the FP&M CETA, and these are the programs that that we are accredited for: cabinet making, wood machining, and joinery, wood finishing, and upholstery. And these are offered in the form of learnership, skills programs, and short courses or modules, or even machine-based training. Okay, so that is part of why Furntech has been successful so far. And then the latest addition to the Furntech stable of services has been the establishment of a design incubator. Now this has been only, it's fairly young. In the sense of we have forged a partnership with the Gauteng Economic Development Department and Seda, and has established the first furniture design incubator in our Johannesburg center. Okay, and part of the reason why we have done this because Furntech has always been a needs-driven organization, we found that there's a shortage of design in South Africa, especially on the furniture manufacturing side, on the furniture design side. We tend to be more copiers than actual designers. The market for furniture design is very small. You find that one designer would, for example, do design work for 8 to 10 other companies, you know. And then research has also shown that design is a key component of the value chain that has literally been excluded thus far. Okay. The objectives of our design program is to support emerging design businesses through the provision of incubation services, assist existing and potential design entrepreneurs to transform their creative professional practice, technological knowledge and theoretical understanding into long-term sustainable businesses. And then to facilitate access to high quality design services for the Furntech clients and for the furniture industry as a whole. So we're hoping that the designers that will be joining and that are joining the Johannesburg Furntech design incubator, that they would also have the furniture manufacturers that are based in the incubation program, will have them also as their clients. Okay, then who is the design program geared for? It's for those that have got a design qualification from a college or a university. That's the one part. And it is also geared towards those that have got what I call a QBE qualification. That is qualified by experience, because I think on our technical training side, we do what we call a lot of RPLs, recognition of prior learning. And in the design field, we also accept those that have got experience in the design field. We've got a 2-day, the program consists of a 2-day design bootcamp training where we take you through the business skills, and then you get selected. Those that are approved, we offer a desk space and a computer, and on the computer there are a number of different design software programs. And we've aligned these programs, especially with the design programs that the most of the universities and colleges are using. So we also offer printing. We've got 3D printers, we've got laser cutters, and then we've got the CNC machine. And then as part of the program, we facilitate the participation in exhibitions, and we facilitate market access. And Furntech has also been, for the past 6 years, been a partner of the design competition that my colleague Cholo has been spoken about in the previous presentation, and that was raised by Bernadette in her presentation from SAFI. Okay, now the success of Furntech for the past almost 20 years has not been only through our own doing. I can tell you, and the next slide will demonstrate that, one of our critical success factors has been our partners, affiliates, or associates. And these are just a list of the logos of the organizations that we have been partnering over the years, that we have got associations with, and that we've got either affiliations with. And as you can see, on the slide. The two previous speakers, their logos are there, the DTIC and SAFI, because we have been part of the design competition as one of the examples. Okay, and then just to give you an indication of what Furntech has achieved over the past almost 20 years, we've established 422 new businesses in our incubation program. We've supported over 1,400 clients, and we've supported over 8,600 SMMEs. We've created over 1,000 jobs through those businesses that we supported and businesses that we've established. And then we've trained over 7,000 youngsters in furniture manufacturing. And then these businesses that has been part of the Furntech portfolio, they have generated over 105 million rand in sales or turnover. We have had a 89% black-owned clients in our portfolio. Our woman-owned portfolio has been averaging 20%, and then the growth in turnover has been 24%. Okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Furntech is about and what Furntech can offer to the businesses in the furniture manufacturing and design space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate the information that you gave us. Now we have a good idea what Furntech does, and I think the same thing will probably be occurred by our attendees. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to move on to Q&A session. For the sake of time, I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Ms. Kwati Koka, to just give us the rundown. So remember your presenters. Here they are on the screen. Can everybody see them?
Good afternoon to all attendees and the panelists. Thank you very much for the presentations and the participant from the attendees.
Here is the presentation. I hope
Okay.
everything is visible.
Yes, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. The first 4 questions, colleagues, to my panelists.
Maybe I'll start off, and then the other panelists, if they want to add to it, they're welcome to. I think, firstly, the question 1 and question 3, those are questions that I think Seda might want to send through to the financial arm of Seda, or refer them to SAFI, because I think none of the presenters, none of us, our organizations provide funding for any of the businesses. And like I said, I don't know if any of the other panelists would like to add to that. In terms of question 2, the question by Don. To Don, we have got a incubation center in White River, which is the closest to Witbank. And you can contact me and I can send you the details of the manager at our White River Center, and the two of you can then liaise further with each other. And then lastly, the 4th question, Nicolette. I haven't mentioned it in our presentation because we are still at discussion level, but we are busy with discussions with the Mangaung municipality and the Free State Provincial Economic Development Department, where If all goes well, there might be a center in Bloemfontein, a furniture manufacturing incubator might be established in Bloemfontein. But like I said, we're still in discussion stages, so I don't have any more details. Like I said, Bernadette, you want to maybe add anything?
Yes, thank you, Irshan. I think, yes, I agree with you in terms of assistance with funding. As Irshan says, we don't offer funding. We would facilitate, or we would refer you to the funding institutions, as Irshan mentioned, an institution like SAFI. Also, just in terms of Don and Nicolette, you're also welcome to make contact with the South African Furniture Initiative, just in terms of assisting you with putting you in contact with the various associations and organizations within the furniture industry. And that is, you can email us at bernadette@furniture.org.za or visit our website, www.furnituresa.org.za. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm just looking at the time. I'm going to allow Tsholofelo to answer any of those questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Kweti. I think for us, we do have the agro-processing scheme, which also funds the furniture manufacturing part, but that's another division of the department. So I think because Sharon is going to share the presentation that has our contact details on it, it will also help to know a bit more on what the company needs are before we link them with the respective units. So maybe it will help then for them to drop us an email, and then we can also share the information on that scheme that I just alluded to.
Thank you very much. There are lots of questions coming in, and I'm checking our time. We're not doing so well. Nompumelelo Hlatshayo, an activator. I would love to learn more about the furniture industry and the opportunities in the industry for young people. I do think some of the speakers covered that. Jeanette Maputsi from Kopanoya Maputsi Trading as Chevy Chic Custom Interiors from Vereeniging. I do interior design and furniture manufacturing. Looking forward to hear what opportunities are available to small businesses. Ms. Dingwe, with my other two partners, looking for mentorship and funding as this is a new business venture to self-employ. There's an email address, Zuki Buzakwe Umta, Developments in Port Elizabeth, a training provider accredited by FPMCTA. We applied for funding for infrastructure and machinery to establish a fully highly fledged incubator for furniture manufacturing small businesses. Oria Chauke, do you partner with NPOs? Tabo Gadigadi, my cousin is self-taught and we exchange ideas on what to create. How do we acknowledge in the industry and how do we access the market formally? Does DTIC only support the designers through competition, or is there a more sustainable support they provide? Sharon, please move down or move up so that they can see the questions. Okay, then the next question from Tabo, I think I lost my, Tabo Kadigadi. I'm done with Tabo. Does the DTIC accept the pencil on drawing on paper drawings? Ngululeko Makanye here from Emma Shombeleni, PTY Ltd. I want to know if do you cater for disability sector, because we only focus on cane furniture making with totally blind people living with disability, and we have a keen interest in this opportunity. Batabile Zingwe, we are a group that has just emerged unemployed youth from a disadvantaged location in King Williamstown in Eastern Cape. We would like to know what should we do if we are looking for coaching in marketing, financial business management, as well as where can we find financial support. I will pause there and let the panelists answer those questions. Then I'll start from 13. Thank you. Some of the questions here are concerning, issues of financial, marketing support and business management, which will be catered for by Seda. You need to get to the nearest Seda office in King Williamstown. There is a Seda office in East London, Amatole branch, where you can go for assistance. But if you can leave your email address, we will be able to send you the details. For financial support, we have SAFI and other financial support agencies and DFIs. Okay, I'll hand over to the panelists.
Okay, I'll start. In terms of the cane furniture, yes, we do make provision in our incubation program for cane furniture. However, it depends on the location of the business, because as indicated in my slide presentation, we've only got centers in certain areas. And if we don't have a center that is close by, it could become problematic. And then also, yes, as far as training is concerned, we also provide training to disabled people. And for example, we ran a technical training program in Mdansani in East London quite a few years ago through the South African Disability Association. So the answer is yes. However, one needs to look at where are the business located. I think, Bernadette, the question of do you partner with NPOs might be something for you. I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Arifdeen. Just in terms of that question, do we partner with NPOs? Aurea Choke, if you can drop me an email, the email details that will be on the presentation, as well as what I've given earlier on, because I just need to understand what you mean by those partnerships. We are NPO ourselves, so I would need more details about that partnership that you are alluding to. Yeah. Just also in terms of the questions on venturing into colleges and training and things like that, I think it's best to make contact. If you had sent us an email or it was an inquiry, we would have put you in contact with your nearest FPNM CETA office, if it's in the furniture sector, to make contact with the FPNM CETA office, and they will give you the guideline or the steps in terms of what it would entail to actually open, and whether it's an artisan college or a training college that you wish to establish. There are CETA branches across the country. You just need to go onto the FPNM CETA website, and it will give you the contact details of the nearest CETA office close to you.
Let's hear from Tsulu Fellow. There were questions for DTIC.
I think the one for us, which I've already responded to on the chat, was regarding the pen or pencil sketch. Yes, we would consider that, but I've just mentioned also on the chat that it must still respond to some of the requirements that I've highlighted, especially regarding showing the dimensions and still mentioning other critical information that we want. So we will also consider and look at that. The other one was on whether DTIC is offering any other sustainable, I don't remember what it said exactly, but I'm not sure whether the person is just a designer or design and manufacture, because you'll find most programs within the DTIC are pro-manufacturing. So it will also be interesting maybe for them to drop me an email, or so we can maybe have a chat later so I understand what kind of assistance they would be looking at. And if it's not us who can assist, maybe we can refer them to the relevant stakeholder.
Okay, thank you very much. I can see that we are not doing quite well with the time. I'll just take a few more questions and allow our program director to give us direction. Okay.
Okay, Ma'am Kwati, you're welcome to take if there's any question.
Okay, there's still quite a few questions, but I'm not going to read all of them. I think we will respond directly to the attendees who ask questions. Tebo Honsai, as a company, what are the requirements? Any advice with regards to us venturing into open and artisan college? I have retired lecturers whom I'm initiating with. I mean, Bloemfontein, is Seda here active with this program? Sandile Nsiki, is it possible and or likely for either Seda or SAFI to link me with a black furniture manufacturing company and fund the venture through SAFI? Tabang Mampuru, specific for small manufacturing businesses to help expand their reach and grow faster. And they hope that their app will help small businesses. And they would like to talk more in details. I think the panelists are there for you to really discuss that with you. Any answer to these questions from our panelists?
Okay, again, I think the question from Tebo Ho, there is a Seda office in Bloemfontein, and I suggest that you actually approach the Seda office. And I think the link to Seda or SAFI to a black manufacturing company, there we would probably need more information, and I think maybe also Bernadette, if they send you more information, maybe you can then assist with the linkage. And then in terms of the software company in Cape Town, Tabang, you're welcome to send me an email, which is on my presentation. And I would afford you the opportunity to actually present your app to the small businesses in our incubation space and to our graduates, and we can take it from there. But again, most of these questions, we will be needing more information to be able to respond appropriately.
Thank you very much, Ikshan. Anyone who would like to answer?
Okay, on that one regarding the opening of the Artisan College, I just got an information from our colleague from MPM SETA. I will also type it on Teboho's question so that they get the contact on who to contact regarding that. So I'll just type the contact details there on responding to his chat.
Right, thank you very much. There's also someone from Volksrust who wants to know what is going to happen to her because she is self-taught and she or he doesn't have the qualifications. What do you do in such a case? Then followed by the issue that lots of attendees are requesting the presentation. So it will be sent through to you via your emails. You can put your email on the chat box so that we can be able to send you all the information that is required. I'm going to hand over to our facilitator because our time is up for question and answer session. Apologies to those that I have not answered or taken your question to the panelists, but you will be answered accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Kwati. Thank you for the panelists for answering your question as best as you could under the available time. I just want to assure all our attendees that any question that hasn't been attended to will be addressed and you will get the answers as part of the documents, supporting documents that we share and we give thanks for your attendance. So together with the link of the video today, you'll also receive it. So rest assured, you're not going to miss anything. We will address all your concerns raised for the webinar. Before I hand over to Mr. Ndombela to close the remark, I'm going to request all of you to run a poll online just to rate us so that we know where we must improve, which areas we delivered according to your expectations. So here's the poll. Kindly rate. Thank you for those who completed. We appreciate your feedback. Mr. Ndombela, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you to the panelists from the TTIC, from the Furntech, and from the South African Furniture Initiatives, as well as thank you to our attendees for your time spent. And as we have noted, these are the organizations that are involved in your areas of operations. If you have any queries, then you are welcome to contact them and share with them your future plans and your experiences, as well as to look out for future webinars where we'll be sharing some information, for example, on intellectual properties as well as manufacturing. As I've indicated earlier, innovation design in South Africa is one of the lacking area in the furniture design. You will notice that most of our furniture, they come from import. So there's a huge opportunity after COVID, since you know that most of the international companies are going to take time for them to be able to supply the needs of the local market. It is now time for the local industries to beef up their efforts in order to make sure that they are able to supply the needs of the people who would be buying new houses, changing homes, new flats, and so on, office furniture, you name them. So without any waste of time, we would like to say thank you to Seda, SAFI, Furntech, as well as the TIC for the hosting of the webinar. May you be blessed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ndombela. Without wasting time, thank you so much, everybody. Have a blessed day further. From Seda and the rest of the team, adios.